Welcome back to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. If you're just tuning in, go to nowmedia.tv, click on Power CEOs and catch the whole segment because today is a hot topic. We are talking about healthcare, improving patient outcomes. What are the use cases of artificial intelligence in healthcare so that we can decrease clinician burnout, so that we can improve patient outcomes, so that we can increase quality of care and ultimately impact positively the health of our nation. And before the break, we were talking about some case studies with Shubo about applications of artificial intelligence. So I wanted to briefly ask you, are there other areas where we could utilize artificial intelligence in medicine? What would they be?
Yes, so there are at least a few other areas that we could quickly discuss. So one is improving patient engagement with using generative AI's natural language processing capabilities to engage the patient and to understand their needs and respond to them. We could also use generative AI big time in creating mental health chatbots that can understand the context, the mood, and the signs of deteriorating mental health of a patient, and then providing appropriate guidance. We can also use generative AI in clinical trials, from study planning all the way through study conduct and reporting. And then the last one I want to talk about is essentially in personalized prosthetic development. And this is very interesting because you can use generative AI and combine it with 3D printing to create really very accurate, personalized prosthetics for patients.
And if you're not in this space and you're listening, those are game changers. We are talking about really up-leveling the level of medicine, but I'm going to address the elephant in the room because it's all over and it's not just in healthcare. What guardrails need to be in place as we consider artificial intelligence or as we implement, because we have to consider protected information, patient privacy, a whole lot of other things. So what in your mind are the key things for us to be considering if we're going to implement artificial intelligence?
Thank you for that. And this is really, a very, very critical area. And so if we look at a ChatGPT type of a tool, you've got 5 key segments. You've got the prompts, user enters the prompts. The model, you've got the model that actually generates a response. So the second aspect is the model. The third is the response that you get. The fourth is the data, okay, that's used to drive the model and the response. And fifth is the training of the data. So you've got these 5 key segments: prompt, model, response, data, and training. And each one of these have risks for which we should have guardrails. So first is, let's say from the prompt side, you could have very nefarious actors actually manipulating the prompts. And this is known as prompt injection, meaning I, as a hacker, okay, manipulate the prompt and take hold of the prompt engine in an LLM to generate malicious output. Okay, so a guardrail against that is system surveillance, who's attempting to use it or break into it, and securing all the interfaces and APIs. The second is model. You can have an attacker attack the model, by very similar to something like phishing emails. Okay, you can attack the model, and so the guardrail would be securing the AI models by using things like watermarking and obfuscating the model in various ways, meaning, people get confused, the hackers would get confused. The third is response, the model's response. And here the exploits of the model is to ask the model to respond as a bad actor, meaning, you're trying to spam and have the model act as somebody that is not the right response as it should be. Okay, so in fact, it's the exact opposite. So the guardrail over here is, again, securing the interfaces, the application programming interfaces of the APIs, and all conceivable sources of external bad actor entry and continuous surveillance. You should also be doing automated code checks of all downloaded code, because in generative AI, you can basically download, the system downloads code. And Jen, I've got 2 more that I'm going to quickly cover. The fourth is for the data segment, data poisoning, meaning, infiltrators can poison the data. They can come in, they can manipulate the data. So let's say you want to approve a loan. typically, if you're approving a loan and if it's trained, the loan goes through a certain approval process. Now, if you poison the data, it'll just approve the wrong types of requests. Okay, so again, here, your guardrail is to secure the training and the operational data environment using very strong encryption, access controls, who accesses it, and constant surveillance. And the last one is the actual training. So here what happens is data can be leaked, okay, and then compromise the system during training. And so therefore you have to be very careful on who actually interacts and enters the data. You should not allow very sensitive or proprietary data to be entered into the system. And
So what I'm hearing, and I'm just going to summarize because I heard it almost at every stage, it's to control access. How are you securing controlled access? How are you having the encryptions in place? And are you monitoring every stage in the process? If we can nail those, we solve for a lot of the problems that are there, as well as, you know, ensuring that we're having the right people in there and controlling who has access and who is entering the system. And so I hear that that's actually a lot of things that we're able to do, but most importantly, and you finished on this point, is some data does not get entered into the model intentionally. So how do we sift and sort through that? That is not us as the clinicians. That is not even us as the business owners. That's where people like Shubho come in to play and are able to help guide us through the process and show us where are our exposures. Because right now, cybersecurity, securing your data is a very, very hot bone of contention and an important piece, especially when we're talking about healthcare. So, Shubho, if people would like to learn more about technology applications and specifically artificial intelligence applications in healthcare, or they just like to learn a little bit more about what guardrails need to be in place or which steps to take next, how can they reach out to you?
well, they can reach out to me through my LinkedIn profile, and also through my website. And on my website, there's a contact me button, and I'd be more than happy to to help them out in any way I can. So these are the best two ways that I can think of connecting with me.
And
Um,
can you go ahead and spell that out for those of our
yes,
listeners?
I will do so. So my website address is URL is Shubho Shubho Chatterjee ChatterJee.com. Okay, so one word, shubhochatterjee.com. And my LinkedIn address is www.linkedin.com /in /SHUBHOC Shubho C. So it's www.linkedin.com /in /Shubho SHUBHOC. One word, Shubho C.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your expertise in this space, and we are all about taking action. And in the beginning, a few segments ago, you shared that learning about this, talking to people who have integrated this already, is one part of the process. Are there any additional action steps that our viewers and listeners can take today with regards to considering generative AI or tech solutions in their businesses?
That's a terrific question, Jen. And so the first thing, my first response to that is anybody, because it's such a big A buzzword and B a game changer that everybody's interested, right? So my first question is, do you really have a need for it? Okay, meaning the reason I say so is because it's quite expensive now, and maybe it's going to the costs are going to come down in the years to come, in the months to come, but now it's very expensive. So first question is you have to make a determination of whether you really need generative AI, or would you rather have machine learning by itself, okay, which requires less resources in many cases, or would you rather require some other forms of automation, such as RPA? Okay, so that's the first question to ask. And so to find out more about it, you've got to know your business needs. Okay, how do what will it make it a difference? Will it make you a differentiator? If so, where? So first of all, it's the business questions. If you're in healthcare, are your patients? Yes, your patients are suffering. I'll take that as a given. Okay, in most cases, mind you. What can generative AI? Where can it be used? So start with that. Do you need it? Where can it be used? And then the next step is, yeah, okay, I've crossed that gate. We need it. Now, how do we execute and make it happen? Then you come to the next stage, which is figuring out the resources, the timing, etc., and the talent you need.
Thank you so
And
much. So just to recap, because we do have to close soon, is ask the questions. Do I need this? Do I need this now? Is there a different application that works? If yes, I need this now, do your research, learn, know what the business application is. How is it going to impact your business? Where are the bottlenecks in your business? And then go from there. Thank you so much for your time today, Shubho. It was absolutely a pleasure to have you on. I appreciate your expertise. Thank you.
thank you very much. I appreciate it too.
Absolutely.
Thank
And
you.
you, yes, you, now you know what's coming. All good things come to an end, including the show. But what we're going to do today is we're going to take action because knowledge is a small bit of the equation and magic happens in the implementation. So if you are new to this, learn about it. Talk to someone who has implemented it in your industry. Then do your business case study. Do I need this? Where is the application? What is it going to cost? How is it going to improve? And go from there. And last but not least, contact the experts in the space. Don't just fly off willy-nilly without having educated yourself and knowing what the risks are and solving for those. So those are your action steps today. Good news is we'll be here same time, same station next week. But until then, go win today, win this week, and we'll see you next time.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.